Match week 22 in MLS Next Pro comes across the border. Toronto FC are above the playoff line and want to keep it that way. A hungry and desperate Atlanta team look to keep their postseason hopes alive as we have Friday night football action in MLS Next Pro. We're at York Lions Stadium on MLS Season Pass. Hello and welcome, I'm Ryan Lee. Thanks for joining us. And in terms of where things stand as of today, Toronto are tied with NYC in the 7th and 8th seeds respectively in the East. 2 straight wins has helped the postseason push as they look to make the playoffs for the first time since 2022. Atlanta are still looking for their first win since Jose Silva took over. They look to close the 9-point gap on Toronto FC2, who are making 6 changes since their match against Chattanooga. Hassan Ayari steps into the front 2, where he has led the way for Toronto in offensive production. You have the 5 midfielders in the center, which has been a staple for all the season for Toronto FC2. In the back, they remain with the back 3. Italo and Chukwu slot in for today's game. Chukwu making his 10th start, and Shafiq Wilson is in goal for TFC2. As for Atlanta, 2 guys on the left side of their formation are making their first start in MLS Next Pro. That's Santiago Pita and Didi Cibrian. We also have some opportunities for them to fill in with the absences of Moises Tablante and Javier Armas. Toto Maju got his first start last time out against Miami, and Josh Cohen, a first-team goalkeeper, slots in after recovering from injury. He gets the start between the pipes after some opportunities have come for Jonathan Ransom, with Jaden Hibbert up on the first team with the Leagues Cup. Speaking of Leagues Cup action, it's an opportunity for both teams to really reset, as none of the first teams have made it to the quarterfinals in Leagues Cup. So within the next couple of days, we should expect both teams come into full force as the remainder of the season comes along. And that's going to be really important with only 8 games remaining in the 2025 regular season. For Toronto FC2, as we mentioned, they're in 7th place in the Eastern Conference, currently tied with NYC FC in the number 8 slot, and they have opportunities to not only maybe keep their place within the mix, but also to prevent any opportunities to fall down, because there are 4 teams breathing down the necks of Toronto and NYC. Carolina Core sits only 1 point behind. Orlando, Crown Legacy, and Cincinnati are all 2 points behind that twosome in the 7 and 8 slot. As for Atlanta, it's been a bit of an up and down season all year long, a whole lot of downs in their perspective, and look to maybe try to change some things around and have an opportunity to elevate their game in the final 10 matches of their season. 9 points behind the 8th slot in NYCFC, and they've had opportunities to beat some of the best clubs in MLS Next Pro. However, those wins have not come very consistently since the turn of June. Only 1 win in any fashion, regulation or shootout, since the start of June for Atlanta. They want to get back into the win column as we start things off here at York Stadium in Toronto, Ontario. Toronto FC are in the all red. They'll start off left to right. Atlanta wearing the light blues today, going right to left. Left to right, or Toronto is Ryan Lee and our entire MLS Next Pro crew. Thank you for joining us north of the border up in Canada, where there have been a lot of changes for both sides. With Atlanta, a lot of them have come with new opportunities for some of their second-team staples. You have some of the contracts signed by guys like Nick Sesak and Cooper Sanchez, who were earning first-team contracts. That was listed earlier on in the week. Also some absences with some of their key contributors with TFC2. Moises Tablante out to personal reasons. Javier Armas out with yellow card accumulation. So as Atlanta weren't already shorthanded, they are already again. And also the first team goalkeeper Josh Cohen, he slots in, recovering to some injury. He gets an opportunity to get back into action before he returns with the first team, while Jaden Hibbert was up in Atlanta playing in many of those opportunities in the Leagues Cup over the past week. For Toronto, they want to stay above the playoff line, number 7 in the Eastern Conference. 2 consecutive wins, both on the road in Columbus and against Chattanooga on the road. 2 opportunities for them to not only continue building points every chance they get, but to really show that they can be in the mix, trying to get to a playoff position for the first time since 2022, and even some new opportunities for some of their guys as well. But they want to keep the momentum they've generated. This is only the second time all season that Toronto have had back-to-back wins, and they don't want to let up now. As you have a tangle up on that far sideline, Pita could not keep it in play. It last banked off a TFC defender. Back in business are Atlanta, as Aiden Torres flips it out, gets the return. Cut off and reversal the other way for Toronto. Only goes as far as the center stripe, as Atlanta already back. This back three of Mazzaferro, Wynn, and Majub. Majub will play the left wing of that three-back for Jose Silva. As his team on the attack, we say, try to send it forward. Chong Ki recovers. Chong Ki crosses the areas. The shot is just chipped over. A chance to find Santiago Pita inside the area, and it goes for a goal kick to Shafiq Wilson. A nice opportunity here for Atlanta to get on the front foot early. Pita trying to make the most of his first start with Atlanta United 2 after predominantly being an option on the bench, but an unused option off of the bench. He fills in that left wing, typically occupied by Moises Tablante. Mazzaferro centers this back line as it's an attempted escape. A chance to spring forward. Nugent just out of range. Toto Majub. Back toward Mazzaferro, who wears the armband, typically worn by Javier Armas. He has been so steady, Armas, but just the yellow card accumulation has been killer for him, and he will miss this game. We say, tight ropes the line, into the box, lost control. So this will be the second goal kick coming into the box of Shaf Wilson. Wilson still looking for a win in his short tenure in this 2025 season. Only 3 matches started as a starter, played. Has yet to get a win in this 2025 season. Last playing midway through July in a 1-0 loss against NYCFC as Reed Fisher takes a tumble. Centering for Simmermancic. Stojadinovic launches as he tried to find Nugent on a foot race with Ayari. Played back towards Toronto as it's Richard Chukwu. Looking for Josh Nugent again on those deep balls. You can already see his ability to fly when he can start those jets up, as he was the intended recipient on that long pass by Fisher. Atlanta coming off of a 2-0 loss at Chase Stadium against Inter Miami 2. A game where Atlanta, at the very least, they had the early goal, but a couple opportunities squandered by Atlanta to occupy the 3 points down in Fort Lauderdale. Centering feed, Nugent. Ayari lays it back. McDonald. Back for Chukwu. Chipped it to center, interrupted by Atlanta. Push off from behind, first foul of the game, called by our officiating crew in the black today. Nicholas Melita, the head official, with Vasil Dazik, Laura Hall, and Fabrizio Stasola is our officiating crew for today's match. This is the long ball for Atlanta. Weah keeps it in play. Weah, wide angle, scores! Weah whips it in under 7 minutes into the match. Atlanta are up 1-0. Patrick Weah can absolutely fly. He's been a more consistent contributor in this lineup. He's got his 3rd goal of the season, and he goes top shelf off of the wide angle, and Atlanta are on the board first. Those early goals have not necessarily come easily for Atlanta, or goals in any manner. As a matter of fact, they're in the bottom 5 in terms of goals scored in the regular season, despite being one of the top teams in terms of creating opportunities. They just haven't necessarily been able to capitalize when they do have those chances. Also an opportunity to really test the goalkeeper, Wilson, who is starting for the first time in about 3 weeks. And it's also a chance for Adisa De Rosario to just sit aside. Maybe an opportunity for him to get some first team reps in a way, as Toronto's first team are on the road against Philadelphia Union, the current Supporters Shield leaders in the clubhouse. Another long ball, as it's going to be Nugent, gets a touch, trickles wide of the post. Miscommunication between Majub and Cohen, but Nugent touches it outside the frame. Nugent's been good on a lot of these long balls, especially for what he's been able to do for only 18 years old. Predominantly a bench player, but with some of the opportunities that the first team can have against Philly, they're bringing some of their guys up onto the first team, especially because those first team reps have not come as easily for Toronto, not partaking in Leagues Cup, having to do with tournaments on the Canadian Cup side of things, as Bostonberry tries to get the steal. Flipped up Carmichael, wanting to connect to Weah on the long ball again. Touchback for Weah. Weah and Pita trying to join into the offensive attack for Atlanta, as it's been a lot of those two guys on those wing forwards. Toronto want to make some danger happen again. Nathaniel Edwards. Ayari. Gets it back from Stojadinovic. Some of what's worked for Coach Gianni Cimini, especially last time out with Chattanooga, just having to do with an overall difficult place to play and the unfavorable conditions between the pitch, the crowd, just everything. Actually talked about how they had some communication issues because of how loud the crowd was in Chattanooga. But what it has done is that it has allowed them to fix some of the tweaks of their game, especially as of late. Some of the indecisiveness, especially trying to get vertical on those passes, trying to connect, making sure that their possession is purposeful. After a steal, can they get it through? Nugent bodies off Mazzaferro, but it's Atlanta's ball on the throw. Atlanta winless in their last 3. off of back-to-back losses in regulation where they only managed to score 1 goal. That was against Inter Miami after a shutout against New England. Attempting to push it forward, but right into a wall of blue. Pizza. Looks to wiggle off Fisher. Stoyadinovich comes back in his 50th start in his 3 seasons in MLS Next Pro. Appearance number 60 for the midfielder from Brampton. Too far in front of Ayari. Edwards comes in, and offside was Ayari. We touched it, not strong enough for anyone to receive. Stoyadinovich widens to Edwards. Ayari and Edwards not on the same page. Maju with pressure. Miscommunication from Atlanta. Ayari centers. Bostonberry holds. He waits. Back for Edwards. Back and forth with Stoyadinovich. Bostonberry back heels. Ayari's free. Ayari, he fires and deflected wide by Cohen. First big save made by Josh Cohen. Playing nearly 300 professional matches across his lengthy pro career. As it was a nice back heel there by Bostonberry to set Ayari free. But the read by the veteran, the 32-year-old, soon to be 33-year-old Josh Cohen. But it does give TFC the first corner. Struck forward, headed up by Fisher. Still in play for Toronto. And we say we'll stop that attack. Carmichael. Weah's ahead, and he knew he was offside. Ayari cuts back for Stoyadinovich, sets Edwards loose. Ayari doesn't have the shooting lane. Near side Edwards. A lot of passing back and forth on this near side with Stoyadinovich, Edwards, and Fisher. Simavancic in as well. Italo. Stoyadinovich elevates too far for Edwards, and Cohen will easily scoop. Not a lot of action for Josh Cohen in this 2025 season. Only 1 game all year. It was with this Next Pro team back in March. It was a 2-2 draw against Chattanooga. All the way back on March 30th. He's been dealing with injury, lower body injury that's kept him out of play. That's also allowed Jaden Hibbert to have some opportunities with the first team, as Cohen's the traditional second team starter. Traditional first team backup, pardon. But a bit of a conditioning stint, if you will, to get back before the second team not only comes back home in a game versus Crown Legacy next week, but also before Atlanta are back in business. First team are north of the border as well for Atlanta. However, they're in Quebec. The team from Ontario currently down a 1-0. This portion of the match is brought to you by BMO, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. Long ball attempted, but could not be corralled. Jumble up top of the area, held on Ayari. Edwards holds, centers. Ayari returns for Edwards. They need some room. All the lanes were congested, so they reroute to the outside. Stojadinovic. Simermansic. Berry widens McDonald. Chukwu steps up. Stojadinovic from range, punched out by Cohen. Still in play, loose ball. And a nice clearing attempt by Wayne to force the goal kick. Toronto, they've been trying to cook in the last couple of minutes since the goal by Wea. And a nice save there made by Josh Cohen, having to sprawl out to get the reach. You have to be careful with a speedy Josh Nugent putting heavy pressure as Wea and Italo continue to battle. Too far for Chonky. Silva on this Atlanta United 2 side. They're just trying to take the opportunity to just move on from a tough loss against Inter Miami 2, where they had the opening goal, but got 2 scored against them after that, including the dagger at the end of that Miami game where Miami were actually a man down. Coach Silva just said that it's a chance to change everything in such a short period of time. It's always welcome. As it's flipped out wide, a chance to hold on. Carmichael lets it go! A belated birthday gift for Ryan Carmichael. His first goal of the season and the second for Atlanta. What a pass by Gabriel Wisse to find the streaking Ryan Carmichael, not just to get the shot off, but to get the hesitation. And he was snake bitten for a large part of the season, but he's back on the score sheet. 5 days after turning 24, the Northern Irishman gets his first of the season, and Atlanta are up 2-0. Atlanta, a lot of the theme was staying on the gas pedal. A chance to talk to defender Ronan Wynn. He talked about how they don't want to be wait to get the first punch against them. They have to make sure they have their foot on the gas no matter how many times we get knocked down. Controlling the game, especially on a quick turnaround, will be a key to get back into the positive side of the win-loss column. Something they've only experienced one time since the turn of June. Cohen out of his box as he clears. That lone win, by the way, was July 13th, a 3-2 back and forth affair against the Columbus Crew. Only 2 other points occupied since then, a pair of shootout losses. All of those were in July. This is also done for Atlanta without some of their top guys from the second team. When you have some of the contracts that were signed as of recently, they Sesak on Tuesday signed a first-team contract where he played the full 90 a couple days back in the League Cup against Atlas to really secure what he's been rightfully earned, by the words of Coach Jose Silva, and also the opportunity given to Cooper Sanchez to sign a homegrown contract. Pita's in front of the line. Pita from distance, a little too much. Saw Wilson outside of the box and gave it a go. A nice end-to-end play, just vertical all the way through. The feed from Cohen, the delivery from Pita, but it was not on frame. As this is only his second match played since his second team debut at the end of April. It was in the 27th against Cincinnati. That was actually at NKU Soccer Stadium. His third appearance is Pita, all of them on the road. Played all of 5 minutes last time out, but that was his first game in a little over 3 months. As Fisher is feeling the heat. Heavy touch by Nugent, but impeded by Mazzaferro. Edwards centers for Simmermancic. Simmermancic on the stumble and a free kick, Toronto. Toto Majoub, the guilty party. Well outside of the box. Toronto looking for a response after 2 early Atlanta goals in the opening 20. Elevated Ayari, kept in play by Fisher, but not for long. Atlanta in their first 18 games of the season, 19 points. Currently occupy the 14th slot of the 15 in the Eastern Conference after a bit of shaky moments in many of their matches. A lot of that also due to leaving points on the board. As the foul is going to stop things against Toronto. Cyprian, Chonky, Pita, attempted cross, blocked by Edwards. But at last deflects on Cyprian. Wilson, coming off of his second season with TFC2 after spending 3 years with the University of Albany after transferring after his first season of college ball at Florida Atlantic with the Owls. Made his way back north after spending that 1 year in Florida. He's only played a couple of games both this year and last. Two starts last year. This is his 4th start in 2025. The header chopped down for Wisse. We say set up Carmichael. He sets up Pita. Pita on the angle. He's got a lane. He gets the shot off, but offline. Had a nice idea. Santiago Pita has been rolling on this near side. Has been able to get the better of Reed Fisher for moments, but just hasn't been able to convert on his own. But you can see the drive and everything, at least in terms of the intangibles that are there. Nugent looks to escape Mazzaferro as he gets clipped down. Aiden Torres, the guilty party. This portion of the match is brought to you by LG, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. Chukwu, harassed by Wisei, who has been pinpoint on many of his breakout passes when he does get the ball at his feet. Fisher retreats towards Wilson. Majubis forward. Laterally for Wisei. Carmichael jumps up, already in a goal. Maybe looking for another fancy footwork, but lost control. Turnover from Mayari. Wisei holds on. Wisei, top of the box, off the bar and out. Second chance, Wea up top. Torres across for Majub. Half an hour in, Atlanta up 2, want to triple the lead. Majub. Around for Carmichael. Last deflected on Wisei. Gianni Cimini continues to lead the way for Toronto FC2 across his 4 seasons with the club. The last time out against Chattanooga, what a way to celebrate game number 100 on the bench. Today is game number 101 for Coach Cimini. A long decade plus with the Toronto FC organization. With the academy, now with the second team. This one is lobbed towards goal and held off by Wilson. '80-degree day here in York. 26 degrees centigrade, if you will. On a relatively gloomy day here in Toronto, but hasn't stopped Atlanta from starting off guns a-blazing to start the match. Bit of a tug from Carmichael will draw a whistle. McDonald Back for Stojadinovic. Return fee from Italo, trying to set Edwards loose, but the pass is inaccurate. Not a lot of playing time since joining the Atlanta organization is Josh Cohen. He's only had a total of 13 appearances with Atlanta United's organization since joining from the top division of Israel, where he spent 4 years between 2019 and 2023. Or in 3 of those 4 seasons, he led Maccabi Haifa to 3 consecutive league championships. Has struggled to really break through with Atlanta United, in part due to the overall experience, but an opportunity to learn from one of the best MLS keepers with Brad Guzan in the mix. Injuries have not helped either, but he's looked good. Has had to make some really acrobatic saves already. Most of those came in the first 25. Both keepers looking for their first win in this season of MLS Next Pro play. Just dumped away by the Atlanta defense. Stojadinovic. Ayari flubs it right to Chonki. Chonki getting some pressure as Fisher stuck the leg out. Fisher got a little bit lost. A warning at most. While we await the restart, this portion of the match is brought to you by Chevrolet, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC 2. Sal Mazzaferro wears the captain's armband with the absence of Javier Armas, is also a native Torontonian before he went down to Florida with USF to play with the Bulls in the AAC. He was a 2-time second-team All ACC conference in those 2 seasons with USF as it's crossed. Pita wiggles through, centers for Weah. Weah crowd around, he gave it a go. We say with a try, and blocked off by Wilson. Gabriel Weah has been a man on fire, looking to get back into the score sheet, trying to add a goal to his assist after Weah got out of the crowd. He gave it a go, but the follow-up by Weah was the one that really threatened Shafiq Wilson as Atlanta get their first corner. No Tablante, no Armas. It's Weah curling, headed out from Fisher. Full steam ahead for the Young Reds. Edwards, one-on-one. He takes a try and too high. Edwards trying to add to his career high 2 goals on the season. Probably more importantly, looking to get one back. Especially for Toronto. They want to take care of business before they have an absolute gauntlet to end the season in their final 8 games, if you include today. Delayed whistle, but Chunky could not keep in. For Atlanta, 9 points back of the 7-8 tie between Toronto and NYC, just looking to keep their season alive. Toronto FC 2, number 7 in the Eastern Conference, look to stay above the playoff line. With 5 teams within 3 points behind Toronto. all looking to either get into the mix, or if you look at NYC, just get out of that final 8th slot. Patrick Weah rolls it to Chong Ki. Majub and Mazzaferro. Pita stripped. Edwards finds Nugent, lost his footing. And a huge collision. As you have men down on both sides. It was a nice effort here by Nugent, who just simply lost his footing before colliding into the defender. That looks like it was Ronan Wynn who goes down. Nugent back on his feet, as is Wynn. As the restart will favor Atlanta. Speaking to the right back for Toronto, Ronan Wynn, he just talked about how a lot of things haven't necessarily gone Atlanta's way, like the offside on Weah. But it's been a time for them to reflect and really have the tough conversations they've needed to have, especially knowing that their season hangs in the balance with under 10 games to go if you don't include today's match. Also looking for their first road win, and it's not just an opportunity to get back on the win column, but also to potentially save their season and not have to play the last handful of matches for essentially nothing. They want to stay in the mix, as do Toronto. Bostonberry, McDonald. Back to McDonald again. Carmichael disrupts, falls back for Italo and Reed Fisher. Chukwu back for Bostonberry. Fisher steps up. Try from range, wanted to serve, but cannot connect. Just too far in front of Marcus Simmermancic. And it's a Cohen goal kick. Stripped away by Toronto. Nugent, he tries to wiggle loose. Centering Simmermancic. Harassed on all levels. McDonald. Chukwu supports. Touched in front, Bostonberry, wide angle into the hands of Cohen. Only the 6th time we've seen Toronto FC 2 and Atlanta United 2 go head-to-head against one another. The last time they played north of the border, it was a tied game, but it was a scoreless game. It's also the only result where Atlanta did not win. 4 wins and a draw, all favoring Atlanta. The one draw for context was a Toronto win, if you want to maybe find the silver lining there. Too much on the attack with Bostonberry and Nugent. Start with Weah offside. Majority of possession has gone to Toronto, but both Cohen and Wilson have had to see 3 shots on frame. Big difference, Cohen stopped all 3. Wilson only 1 of 3 so far. Majub and Mazzaferro. Turns to Cohen. The extended arm of Stojadinovic forces the stoppage. That allows Wisei to step ahead. Wisei wanted to fire, but too much cloggage in the lane. Torres and Wynn back and forth with Carmichael. Key got in front of the pass, looking for Stojadinovic. Atlanta are in no rush to get back on this ball with an extra 3 for stoppage time in the first half. 2 goals in the opening frame. Ronan Wynn setting up Weah. Wisei setting up Carmichael. Chong Ki handsy on Fisher, too much so. Quick restart as Toronto look to have the deficit before the end of stoppage time. Looking for the long ball again, Nathaniel Edwards too far in front. A friendly deflection for Toronto as Ayari's on. Finds Edwards loose, attempted centering feed, back to Edwards, Ayari ahead, Ayari centers, bodies in the way. Mazzaferro on the head, no one can claim it cleanly. Edwards forward for Nugent. And eventually Atlanta finds some room. Nugent chopped down, first yellow card against Atlanta. D.D. Cibrian. The 15-year-old from El Salvador gets the first yellow card of the match as he just got his legs tangled with Edwards on the step. Simpering on the yellow, it allows Toronto to get a set piece much closer than their last one. But it's still Ayari to serve. Hassan Ayari curls it to the box, header deflected, out of play, corner, Toronto. Only the third corner of the game, 2 of them for Toronto. Bit of a discussion with Reed Fisher and Chong Ki. Chong Ki last playing about 2.5 weeks ago for Reed Fisher. He's been a consistent presence for Toronto in their lineup as Hassan Ayari ready to curl. No one in the way except for Cohen. And that will do it for the first half. Cohen keeps Atlanta clean as they get 2 behind Wilson the other way. It's 2-0 at the half. Atlanta leads on Toronto. We were in Austin for All-Star Weekend as our very own April Marie Aguilar sits down with Austin FC2's head coach Brett Utley in this edition of Coach's Corner.
Welcome back to another episode of Coach's Corner. I'm April Marie Aguilar here with Austin FC2's head coach, Brett Utley. Thanks so much for the time, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
You've been with this team from the very beginning. What's it like to just see Austin FC2 grow?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, starting it from the beginning back in 2023. We've certainly had a lot of highs, a lot of learning experiences as well. Seeing players come through the pipeline has been really exciting, and also growing as a staff as well. We've had a lot of different coaches and different performance coaches and other staff throughout our time together, and it's just been a great environment.
What sparked your interest to join a new franchise in Austin?
Yeah, it was just an opportunity. I always had an urge to grow as a head coach. I've lived a lot of different experiences as an assistant coach in various roles at different clubs throughout my career thus far. And I just really wanted to take a step and try it as a head coach. And it's been a lot of fun, a lot of learning experiences. And I just really enjoyed the experience thus far.
And I mean, in that inaugural season, you all won the MLS NEXT Pro Cup. What's a memory from that time that most resonates with you?
Yeah, I think the whole season as a whole is my first year as a head coach at this level. Watching players come through, at that moment, Micah Burton was one of the younger guys coming through the academy that was playing with us, which was exciting to see him play. CJ Fodry we drafted and making his MLS debuts. Yeah, just the way the team came together throughout the course of the season. The playoff run was a lot of fun. We had 4 road games as well, which certainly wasn't easy, but yeah, the team just kept growing together as one, and it was really exciting.
And I can't even imagine, what were you thinking once you got your hands on that cup?
Yeah, it was just a lot of hard work. There was so much work going on behind the scenes with everybody from the staff that helped build the team, to the coaching staff, to the performance staff, to the medical staff, to the players. It was, seeing it all come together at the end, it was so rewarding.
And it takes a village. And while I was preparing for this conversation with you today, I was reading something about you, and it wasn't necessarily what you do on the field, but it's what you do off of it. And it's hosting these events for your players and the entire staff. What types of events are you hosting?
Yeah, we've done a few this year. We went to Butler Pitch and Putt down in Austin, which is a lot of fun. I would say a lot of the players are better soccer players than golfers. But yeah, just events like that. We've had barbecues together. We've gone to pitch and putt. In the past, we've done bowling events. Just a variety of different things just to get the guys together and sharing some time together away from the field and understanding who they are as people, away from just being a soccer player. And I think that's really important. Guys come into our space with all different backgrounds from different cultures, and the more we can get to know each other at a deeper level, I think that is certainly beneficial for us on the field as well.
That was going to lead me to my next question, as how valuable is that, quality time with them in order to help them find success on the field?
Yeah, it is, because you just see a different side to the human being rather than just what you're wearing, in your Austin FC clothes every single day. And then you can just see different sides, with guys if they're running the barbecue grill and seeing how they're doing there, and just different conversations that you can have as people is something that I certainly value and certainly helpful for these young guys.
And even as you nurture those relationships, do you feel like that just also helps you in your coaching style because you know how to approach certain players in certain ways? Yeah,
totally. I mean, the second team space ultimately is a bridge between, the academy and the first team. So it's a blend of three environments. So we want to try to create a team culture, a collective. In order to do that, you have to know the human being in front of you and how you have to help, let's say, an 18-year-old coming from the U18s stepping in our environment for the first time, or a first-team player coming down to play with us is going to be slightly different. And if you know the individual, it's going to be much easier to have those conversations.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for the time. We'll be rooting for you this season. And thank you so much for you all for tuning into this episode of Coach's Corner. Be sure to tune in next time to see who I'll be speaking to next. We'll catch you guys next time. Adios.
This summer, the center of the soccer world is right here. The world's best, the world's game, all in your backyard. 4 major moments. One summer like no other. Learn more at MLSsoccer.com/summer.
MLS debutant Kevin Sullivan.
Luna.
Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Returning to Toronto at York Lions Stadium, 2-0 Atlanta leads. As some of the best stories across all of MLS Next Pros are the opportunity for players to move up into the MLS. We take a look at one of those success stories with Seattle's Georgie Minungo.
Minungo, numbers for Seattle, looking to put this one to bed. Minungo! This one's in bed, and Georgie Minungo puts it there.
Minungo again running at Yeboah, again stepping over, byline, Minungo!
Georgie Minungo is as unpredictable as any player I've seen play for Seattle in MLS history.
Come from a Christian family, my mom raised me with love and a lot of smile, and she gave me all good education, always happy whatever is coming, so I feel like I can play without joy, as soon as I play with no joy, I'm not happy, and I'm trying to to enjoy what I'm doing and always be normal, natural, so that's me, smile, that's the thing.
For a long time, nobody in Seattle knew the name Georgie Minungo. But in a small village near the western edge of Ivory Coast, the game was already shaping him.
There was no rule, there was no restriction. We play like 9v1, you have the ball and you have to 9 defenders against you, and then you have to dribble all of them to go score, That's how I grew up.
He played in the street, sometimes with a ball made of plastic bags. There were no coaches, no tactics, just a game, and a joy that never left him.
It was fun. We played on the street. The ball wasn't a real ball. It was a very good time. I enjoyed those times. And every time I go back home, I have to play against my friend. Yeah.
When he came to the U.S., he still had a lot to learn. He studied tape, asked questions, learned where to be and why.
before training, I went in their office because I didn't really know like about the positioning, the tactical stuff, but they helped me every time. They helped me grow. Like I saw like how I improve a lot, and my level like goes to the next level, because they've been there since the first that they saw the potential in me, and they decided to help me. They really did the job, So I really appreciate that, and like that's why I'm in the MLS level now, yeah.
Early in 2023, he was close to signing with the Sounders' first team. Then, without warning, his life changed drastically.
Like I did a great preseason, even score. Like I was so good in preseason, and we came back, training, and then stuff like that happened. It was like all my world like goes down. Like I didn't really know. Like was like, bro, what's really going on? I'm about to live my dream, and then like this stuff happened, But like I'm a son of God. Whatever happened, is God will decide, And I decided to fight and not let this thing affect me, The doctor was saying like, no, maybe it's not possible that you might play one day, but I was like, no, I'm gonna fight through. I'm gonna play even if I have one eye. I'm gonna be the best. Everybody's gonna say, oh, this kid has one eye, but he's even better than those who has two eyes. And that's my mindset now, No matter where I go, no matter how defender is good, or like I'm gonna go through and then I'm gonna play. I'm gonna be the best winger in this league, and that's my mindset. That's how I get to the first team.
Then, another blow. His father passed away.
My family didn't want me like to be. They know that this thing affects me, and they didn't want me to go back to my country, and then like I'll be so much affected that when I came back, my game will not be the same, And that moment I just signed with the first team, so that was the moment to help the team. So I talked to my mom. She was like, Georgie, I know you want to come, but for me, I think like the good thing for you to do is to stay and help your team, And I know your dad will tell me, if he was there, he would say the same thing, because my dad like will never want me to leave training or something like that to just go do other thing, because he's been helping me a lot since I used to be a kid to just keep training and stuff like that, So like I listened to my family, and then I decided to stay and then play for my dad, and then after at the end of the year, I went back to see everything, and yeah, that wasn't easy, playing with knowing that your dad passed away, and you can't even go over there, like just seeing for last one time, it's very tough. But I decided to play for the team because I love the team, and yeah, that's the more important thing. I have a lot of people here supporting me, so that was huge.
Right towards the spot. That one's side goal, tucked in by Menungo.
Ball come on me, I just put it in, And in that moment, I was thinking about my dad, because my dad passed away the day before. So the coach even asked me, Georgie, are you sure like you can play? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play. So, scoring that goal, and then like I was crying even at the end, everybody come to support me, but that was a good moment for me. And I even, put my hand on sky, to say, yeah, Dad, I know you over there, but like I'm playing for you now, and that was a good moment, and thanks God for everything, and that was one of the best moments of my life, yeah.
He's proven he belongs. Now, he wants more.
I'm always fighting, but my goal is like, to be the best in my position, try to score goal, assist, and try to help the team win trophy, We never know like how it's gonna end, but everybody's dream is to play like, maybe one day in Europe, Champions League, something like that, You never know. That's my dream too, but now I want to help the team, the same way the team helped me too.
He's not just here for himself. His journey is a message.
Whatever you want in your life, go find it, go get it. Because if you don't do it, maybe in the future, one day you're gonna regret it, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, maybe I could, maybe no. In my mind, there is no maybe. Either I find a way to do that, or either like I create myself a way to do that. So that's my mindset.
Action.
We return here to York Lions Stadium in Toronto, Ontario, where Atlanta United 2 have the 2-0 lead on Toronto. We take a look at how it got to this point in our halftime highlights through 45+ minutes of play. It all started off with a long ball from Ronan Wayne as he sets up Weah on nothing but green grass in front, whips it in on the wide angle, getting his 3rd goal of the season back in the 7th minute. Toronto would have many opportunities, including this cheeky little back heel to set up Ayari, but getting the palm out was Josh Cohen, and it wouldn't stop there as this try from range was forced out of play off of the foot of Marko Stojadinovic. And then you had the curler across. Carmichael cuts back for a goal that he has been waiting for after being one of the top goal scorers in the league last year. Just hasn't found that same productivity this year, but gets on the board. And we say, coming off of an assist, he tried to get a goal of his own, just bangs the bar and out. And then the follow-up by Weah, just continuing the cycle, but nothing was able to find its way through. And after a couple attempted swats down, Santiago Pita getting an opportunity of his own, but Weah was the one to get the try. And then the second one by Huisei, both of them on that far wing. They've just all been problematic for Toronto. On that far wing specifically, between the 2 goals and those last couple opportunities. As Atlanta and Toronto get ready to come back into play for the second half, we look forward to MLS Next Pro, the end of match week 22 and the start of match week 23. As we mentioned, it is tied in the number 7-8 slot between Toronto and NYCFC, but plenty of teams look to play catch-up. Orlando are one of those teams looking to play catch-up, while Chattanooga look to get in the top 4 for a home playoff slot. Carolina Core travel to Huntsville. Same stakes in the mix. Carolina look to get into the picture. Huntsville wants to stay with a home game in position. And Monday, four teams, 2 heavyweight matchups. The 2 heavyweights, Philly and New York. That is likely going to be a battle for first place in the conference. Cincinnati and Crown Legacy, who gets the point in that Monday night game. That could determine who could jump into the 8th-place spot, as both Cincy and Crown Legacy are 2 points behind this current 2-way tie between NYC and Toronto in the 7-8. So that's a chance for either side to elevate themselves into the playoff picture, or maybe a little bit of a discrepancy as things slowly start to split with some of the results upcoming over the next several weeks. So new opportunities for new sides, as it appears we're going to be having a substitution to start the second half, as we see the card being handed by Gianni Cimini to start the half, and it is going to be Micah Chisholm to start the match as he comes out for Patrick McDonald. Chisholm, 20 years old, a native of Markham. He's in his first season MLS Next Pro after spending the last 2 seasons in Germany with Hannover 96, their second team, where they won the Regionalliga North title in that winter season of 2023 to 2024. So that allows some professional experience overseas for Chisholm to enter as we start the second half. Atlanta in the blue, left to right they begin, while Toronto rock the red, right to left. They start the second half. As Ryan Lee and our entire MLS Next Pro crew, we thank you for joining us here at York Lions Stadium in Toronto, north of the border. They are 2 goals down, look to get back in the mix of things at the very least, because they know they have that deadlock with NYC and opportunities for other teams to catch the table later on, as Italo saw pressure right in his face. A strip from Carmichael, but cannot connect to Huisei. A bit of a bobble for Chukwu as they cannot keep it in Toronto's favor. Majuk to Chung Ki, centering for Pita. Pita double teamed. He gets smashed to the ground as this will draw the opening whistle of the first minute. First verdict made by our head official, Nicholas Melita, Vasil Dazik, and Laura Hall, the assistant referees. Fabrizio Stasola is the fourth official. They'll be in the black today, as that last whistle will give Gabriel Wisse a chance to serve. Gabriel Wisse shifted to the area, headed up by Fisher. Chung Ki slots it down. It's up for grabs as we have two guys down to ground. That is Fisher, and hard to see who that other player is, but here's the chance in the box. That's Patrick Weah and Fisher, who both went for the jump ball right inside of the 6, about 5 meters out of the end line, as those two get attended to. Reed Fisher, 21 years old, from Huntington Beach, California, was a former San Diego State Aztec, where he had a great 2 seasons there in the NCAA. He was a freshman of the year in the WAC, and then a first teamer in his second season. While we still have Patrick Weah down on ground, he scored the opening goal in today's game in the 7th minute, has been a greater regular in the lineups from a year ago. 35 combined matches across his time in MLS Next Pro. Some of that spent with Minnesota United before coming to Atlanta this past offseason, where he's been all around the block during his 5-year stint with Minnesota. Some of it MLS Next Pro, some of it on loan in Norway, and even some of it down in stints in the USL Championship with Sacramento Republic and FC Tulsa before. All that coming after his time in college with St. Louis in the Atlantic 10. We are still clutching. Fisher, not as iffy as Weah was still grappling on his head. So this allows Rodrigo Neri to enter the match. So Rodrigo Neri will make his entrance as Weah will exit. Neri, the 19-year-old from Miami, spent his time before coming to Atlanta 2 years ago with Valencia in Spain with their U19 program. Leading the way in goals for Atlanta is Neri. Many times we've actually seen Wisse sub on for Neri. This time it's Neri for Wisse. Just shy of the 50-minute mark. Taken back by Toronto, across for Chukwu. Gianni Cimini talking about having to adapt in match, just trying to make sure that they not just see those changes and come with them, but also anticipate them before they occur. So that way they're not caught off guard by anything like they were early on against Chattanooga. It took them a while to kind of sniff out some of the adaptations that they felt, as the long ball cannot be connected to Ayari. Romancic stolen by Neri. This sends Pita and Atlanta free. Pita widens, Neri, Italo in the way. Possession sticks with the Five Stripes as they'll take the throw. frequent issue with Atlanta. They have let points slip, especially on the front foot. They spent more of their games with the opening goal, and of those 8 times, they've scored first. In 5 of those 8, they've let the other team come back and steal points, whether it be at minimum 1 in PKs or the full 3. Nice drive for Nugent. Nugent wanted to cut across for Bostonberry, disrupted. Ayari skips back. Edwards back for Stojadinovic. Full pitch press by Atlanta, forcing Toronto to react. Toronto continues to possess, especially with that attacking half. Italo, deep try for Edwards. Chopped down by Majub. Discussions with our secondary official Laura Hall and Majub, but result stays the same. Corner Toronto, first of the half for either side. Ayari, service, headed up. Bostonberry back in the mix. Bostonberry again. Fisher can't get free as we save, pushes back. Push from behind by Pita on Stojadinovic. Stojadinovic too far in front of Chisholm. Offside, doesn't matter. The sun starting to set in Ontario. 26 degrees Celsius, 78 degrees Fahrenheit as the second half started 10 minutes ago. Atlanta up 2-1, both goals in the opening 19 minutes. Patrick Weah, Ryan Carmichael. Turned over, we say. Saying Carmichael attempted to steal back. A chance for Ayari with a lane. Chonky with the read. Carmichael loads up. Pita presses the gas. Fisher comes back. Pita trips down Edwards. A yellow card at the end of the last play. Maybe a less than welcome homecoming for Sal Mazzaferro as he gets booked on that last little exchange. Signing a short-term agreement earlier in the week so he could be called up to the Leagues Cup to play against Atlas, where he subbed in on Wednesday. Combined 71 appearances and starts with Atlanta 2. Torres got free for Pita. But the efforts in Toronto only go back to blue. Nice couple moves by Wise to find space. Torres leaves it for Pita. Chukwu back, Simmermancic. Bostonberry with lane to Chisholm. Too far ahead of Bostonberry, and it's Mazzaferro who lets that sputter out of play. This portion of the match is brought to you by BMO, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC 2. And as Mazzaferro lets it stroll out of play, this will be the exit for Reed Fisher and Richard Chukwu, as Tim Fortier and Lucas Olguin will be the replacements. Olguin comes out first, the 19-year-old who is making his 68th appearance in MLS Next Pro across 3 seasons, and the rookie, Tim Fortier, a youth international with Canada at the U17 level at only 16 years of age, so he has more time with the U17s if he does get the call-up. A couple academy products coming in as Cohen sees some front-loaded pressure. Talo halts the progress. Olguin. Saw Stojadinovic charging back in. Carmichael. End-to-end, Pita on the money, could not control. It's a foot race, Stojadinovic and Pita. Chong Ki helps out. Torres. Attempted center for Neri. Back for Atlanta, Carmichael. Cuts inside. Takes a stumble and wins the free kick. Atlanta has not had very many dangerous opportunities on free kicks. Toronto were really the ones getting those set piece opportunities right around the box. Atlanta's had to settle for a singular corner and a whole bunch of balls within the run of play. A chance for Atlanta to triple their lead. Gabriel Wise with Rodrigo Neri. Neri to take and scores! A beauty from Rodrigo Neri. Atlanta's up by 3. No words for that strike by Rodrigo Neri. Perfectly splits the wall and lets that one sputter into the bottom right. And Atlanta are up 3-0. A beautiful strike for your leading goal scorer on this team. 6 on the season for Rodrigo Neri. And just past the hour, there's a chance that could slam the door shut on Toronto. Atlanta has dominated this head-to-head. Of the games that ended in regulation, they're 5 for 5. The only time Toronto has won in this head-to-head had to go to PKs. Bobbling ball, Olguin steps up, Edwards recovers. Olguin. Bostonberry. Returns for Olguin, getting harassed. Bobbles for Simmermancic. Headed forward, Fortier. Into the box, Nugent, too high for him. Atlanta attempted clear. Edwards can't pull the trigger as he got blocked by the barricade of blue. 12 minutes after getting subbed in, Rodrigo Neri calls his own number on the set piece. Atlanta, for context, they've only scored three times all season. In all 3 of those games, they've come with 3 points. 3-1 win in April against Miami. 3-0 win on the road against Orlando. And 3-2 against Columbus Crew. Not too bad for a team that was bottom 5 in goals scored all year long, as Chisholm full wrap on Risset and will get the yellow. Arguably more importantly for Atlanta, a great position for interim head coach Jose Silva to get his first win at the helm since Steve Cook left for the USL Championship with Lexington at the end of July. Silva just talked about not letting up like they did against Miami. He felt they took their foot off the gas when Miami got a send-off against them. And he just put it very bluntly, until the 90 is done, that's when you can relax. And even up 3, they've been the more aggressive team on the forefront. Right, that last charge by Risset before he took the shove from behind by Chisholm, who's got to look out. He's already on a yellow, but only a whistle, nothing more. This time it's Ryan Carmichael. Scoops it in. Too short for anyone to reach. Mazzaferro hustles. Ryan Carmichael. Galloping past defenders. Tangled with Chisholm and lost it. Olguin for Bostonberry. Out of play on the block. Edwards on the deep try as Stojadinovic follows. Olguin. Not there for Edwards. Ronan Wynn, eyes we say. Green grass in front. Gabriel we say. Awaits help. Torres. Comes across for Chung Ki, a couple teammates at the USA U18s earlier in June. Have returned in their regular spots in the lineup since the international break as it stripped Ayari, able to find a centering feed. Simancic, 3-on-2, widens, Ayari! Swatted down by Josh Cohen, keeps Toronto scoreless. The experience paying off for Josh Cohen, only a week and a half shy of his 33rd birthday for the Mountain View, California native. Pro since 2015 is Josh Cohen, a decade. First in the USL. Not quite the USL Championship yet, but started the USL with Orange County for his first 2 seasons back in 15-16. Edwards loads up for Nugent. Torres' touch, Olguin charges in. Ayari's alone, left side, holds, waits, back in front with a shot and a response! Toronto get one back and cut the deficit to 2. It's Marcus Simancic with the goal. Toronto have been surging. They were not successful. This breakout starts on the feed from Simancic, from Ayari. Sends it back to center where it's the left footer into the bottom corner for the 20-year-old from Kitchener. Some of the recent MLS experience helpful. Last playing with the first team at the end of July on the 26th against Charlotte. The last time the first team were even out. And for Simancic, that puts him at 2 goals and an assist in the last 4 games. Toronto has life. Potential possession squandered with the interception. We say with room. And we say tumbles. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ritz, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. Toronto dominating possession, but not so much in terms of the efficiency of their offensive opportunities. Only 7 shots. They've been great at shooting though, something that Toronto's been really lacking all season long. They don't get a lot of attempts, and even when they do, not a lot of them get within frame, but today, they've been excellent in that category. 5 shots on target on 7 attempts, but only the 1 goal to show. Fortier. Nugent retreats. Wanted to spring Bostonberry loose. It's back to Bostonberry. Ayari. Chopped down by Mazzaferro, and the officials will say Mazzaferro was the aggressor. With a free kick just outside of the penalty area, Toronto could get this game within 1. Mazzaferro the one whistle down as Ayari and Edwards get ready to load up. 73rd minute. A chance to bring the deficit to 1. Ayari the strike, too high. So Hassan Ayari, despite all the attempts for the club's leading goal scorer in 2025, it wasn't enough as Jamari Nolan comes off of the bench. The first year, the Jamaican Youth International. Maybe a bit of a spark up front with some fresh legs where Ayari has done a lot of the heavy lifting. There's Nolan. Olgwin wanted to send Nugent free, but it splits the two. With him and the defender in front, he was tangled with Mazzaferro. We say help arrives. We say takes the lane, makes a couple of cuts. Chung Ki receives. Chung Ki loads up and saved by Wilson. Simmermancic and Pita. Pita wins the battle. Still with more help. Centering feed off of Wilson, loose in the box. Deflects on Wisei. Mazzaferro runs back to open things up. 15 minutes to go as the try from distance is high. After the Jamari Nolan entrance, Gianni Cimini has used up 4 of the subs at his disposal. Still only the lone change for Jose Silva. That was a chance maybe that sub isn't made had we not gone out with a potential concussion on a head-on-head with Fisher. But even then, Atlanta, they just look like the fresher team. Only a one-day difference between the road loss from Atlanta in Miami versus the Toronto win on the road in Chattanooga. A chance for Nugent trying to get free, but it falls back. Olgwin. Edwards centers. Nugent takes a spill. Bostonberry couldn't get the shot, as this will be another free kick for TFC2. Nugent took the spill inside the arch. 4 players get ready alongside. Simmermancic and Olgwin. Carmichael protecting the bottom. Olguin towards goal, too much. And after that last free kick attempt going out of play, this is the change with Josh Nugent and Michael Sullivan. This portion of the match is brought to you by MasterCard, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. Michael Sullivan on the entry, the ex-Pitt Panther, former second rounder of this past year's draft. After spending his 4 years in college with Pitt for the Tarentum, Pennsylvania native. Made his MLS debut with the first team about a month and a half ago. Launched forward, Sullivan does win the throw. Sullivan ready to load up as Toronto brings numbers inside the 18. Headed out, controls Stojadinovic. Atlanta do clear, but Toronto will hang on. That's 5 for 5 on the subs, by the way, for Toronto. After the Sullivan in, Nugent out change took place only a minute ago with just over 10 minutes remaining. Toronto 2-goal gap to make up to, at the very least, force things to penalties. And who knows how things will go if Toronto does tie it. Neither team have a good track record in 2025 from the dot. Launch to the box, too far, out of play, goal kick, Cohen. Toronto has seen their share of multi-goal comebacks. They had to score 2 in the second half to get the 2-1 win on the road against Chattanooga only 6 days ago. After starting things off, not necessarily on the best foot. They do the same against Columbus Crew as well. They got the early goal on that game at historic Crew Stadium, and a couple of late goals for Toronto. A pair of them, in fact. Got TFC across the finish line with those 3 points, but we say might have something to say about that. We say charges up, loads up, and dribbles too far out of reach. Another opportunity to look at. The opportunity by Louis. He's had good scoring opportunities, especially he's been able to find the guys who are making runs in transition, but he's called his own number a couple of times. One of them forced a save by Wilson that was back in the first half. Another one clanked off the iron as it's sent by Cohen. Chopped down at the center circle. Toronto, a chance to spring Simmermancic free. Maybe looking for 2, but overshot. Atlanta just want to keep their postseason hopes alive if they hang on to the lead. But the miscue will give Toronto a corner. Ayari was serving, but as he's out of the game, Fortier will take the flag. Swung by Fortier, out by Atlanta. Returns wide for Fortier. Edwards, scooped in the box, headed Simmermancic. Whistle down. Atlanta, as we mentioned, looking to keep their hopes alive. They have a whole lot of teams who are desperate for points. They might try to use the game against Atlanta as that potential springboard. Crown Legacy and Orlando are both just outside of the playoff line. They're both 2 points out, are Crown Legacy and Orlando. They're tied at 26 in that 10, 11, 12 threesome with Cincinnati. Cincinnati, by the way, are Toronto's next opponent. And at least for Atlanta, they have to go back home against Miami before playing Huntsville, who by that point might be fighting for a home playoff slot. Just a whole lot of teams coming up for Atlanta, either fighting for playoff slots or fighting for home playoff games. Orlando, Carolina Core, Crown Legacy, all in the mix for that top 8, trying to maybe surpass Toronto. And then 2 games against Chattanooga, Huntsville, and a game against the hottest team in the league, arguably Chicago Fire, on the road as well. Those are the last 2 matches for Atlanta. In Chicago, in Chattanooga. Who knows how desperate those teams will be, not just to play the postseason in their respective home venues, but also a chance to pick your opponent maybe. Maybe not be stuck with what's left over. Pita gets around 1. Risei stretched out. But Toronto turns it around. And a miscue for the Young Reds, who, as we mentioned, they are in a head-to-head tie with NYCFC, but for New York City, they're tied at 2-2 with Chicago. So they could surpass Toronto at the end of the night, as Neri gives it a try, but out of frame. Final 5 minutes to go, 2 goals to make up for Toronto. They did get one back from Simmermancic in the 69th, but not before. Atlanta already accumulated a 3-goal lead. In the 7th from Weah, 19th from Carmichael, 61st from Neri. Deep try, short of Edwards. Toronto, a lot of teams with a lot to fight for, especially all of those teams in the Northeast. Cincinnati fighting for their playoff lives. NYC, they're tied going into today. And then you look at the opponents attempting to go for home games. New England, Revolution, in Gillette Stadium in September nonetheless, or in a top 5 slot. As this is chipped towards the box, and Cohen settles down. And also for Toronto, in their final 6 matches, 3 of those games are against the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference, with Philly Union twice and the New York Red Bulls on the road to finish Toronto's season. By that point, when you end the season with Toronto and New York in back-to-back weeks, that could be top of the MLS Next Pro in its entirety territory for both Union and Red Bulls. Tied at 42 are Philly and New York going into today. Potential stretch, but that could be desperation time, trying to catch up to St. Louis in the top slot, or at the very least, their first pick of the bottom 4 in Pick Your Opponent. Simmermancic, offsides. Cohen taking his time. Keep in mind, he was dealing with a lower body injury going into today's game. He's playing with the second team as a somewhat of a conditioning stint before getting back as the first team's second goalkeeper. But he's already de-strapping with his gloves and his sock and boot, so who knows what that could present. They do have a really solid backup in the wings should Jose Silva go to his bench. Jonathan Ransom has started the last several matches with Jaden Hibbert up with the first team in Leagues Cup play. Ransom, a Canadian native as well, so who knows what that could be, as we have breaks on both sides, and it's not just a chance for Atlanta to continue their dominance in the head-to-head. They've won 2 of the 3 prior between these two in MLS Next Pro play. Only 1 game between these two did not result in Atlanta win. That was the last time these two played back here in York in 2023, where it was a 0-0 draw. Last time out, just shy of a year ago, it was an Atlanta win as well. The big question here is Cohen back up? Looks like it. He's restrapping the gloves. Jonathan Ransom puts on the pinny. And we just resume as Cohen still limping. Who knows how that will affect stoppage time. Maybe extending it to give Toronto more life. Bostonberry. Fortier returns to Bostonberry. Toronto brings numbers forward. Olguin widens for Edwards. Attempted center off of Chong-Ki. Corner number 5 for Toronto. Seven added minutes. Some of that may be extended with the little checkup on Josh Cohen. He also had the little head injury on the other end too. This one scooped in, blocked away by Torres. Pita helps it the rest of the way. Fortier centers back in front. Simmermancic, his chance is blocked. Bostonberry tosses to Italo. Italo forced to come back. First minute burned of 7. Looking for their first win since July 13th. That would be only their second win since the start of June. Regulation or shootout. Toronto coming off of back-to-back wins. That streak and the possibility of extending it only wanes with every passing second. Flips possession. Italo. Edwards took a bad bounce, so it comes right for Rodrigo Neri. Neri wanted to set up Pita as he takes a stumble with contact from Stojadinovic. Deflected by Wise, back for Toronto. Anthony Bossenberry, maybe trying to force something in his last week as a 16-year-old. Atlanta's throw out a play. Too far for Edwards towards Wilson's box. Atlanta return home where they have to play a desperate Crown Legacy side before going on the road to Orlando. Toronto first of 2 straight at home. Cincinnati are next here at York. Fortier settles, Stojadinovic. Atlanta wanted a foul after the slide by Sullivan. Four of 7 in stoppage. Tumble. As the yellow card is going to be taken by Aiden Torres, delaying the restart. Yellow card in the book for the MLS Next All-Star from a year ago. That's only the second yellow taken by Atlanta all game. Marko Stojadinovic elevates, not high enough for Italo. Chisholm, Bossenberry. Bossenberry couldn't find a lane. Nice play by Ronan Wayne to deflect it off of Fortier. Ronan Wayne in our discussion leading up to the game, just talking about trying to stay optimistic, just moving forward and not dwelling on some of the not so favorable results in the last 3 matches. Looking to snap a two-game losing streak. Our Atlanta looking to break Toronto's 2-game winning run. Chips it too far, we say. Wins back possession in the final minute. Italo sets up Edwards. Lost his footing. Edwards takes it back as Maju wanted to settle it. Stojadinovic. Back from Old Wind. Whistle down just outside of the box. As of now, NYCFC leads Chicago, so this drops Toronto to 8th, with results pending with Carolina Core, Orlando, Crown Legacy, and Cincinnati coming up later in the weekend. This is the 7th minute. Stojadinovic takes a drive, deflected, still in play, cleared by Atlanta, and that'll do it. The first win in the Jose Silva era for Atlanta United as they come to Toronto and take the 3 points. We take a look back from the 90 minutes of play to our man of the match, and things got opened in only 7 minutes of play for Patrick Weah, who was a force for the short time that he was on the pitch. Absolute laser from the side of the net in the 7th minute. That goal would set up the blazing attack for Atlanta, as it was the first of 3 the Atlanta used in order to get the 3 to keep their hopes alive. Don't forget to watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. It's all said and done here at York Lions Stadium in Toronto, where Atlanta United take a 3-1 win over TFC2. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Ryan Lee. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.